Hello, Watem here, and welcome back to small Umineko When the Seagulls Cry. Let us continue. With us probably not being safe, finally.
絶対に
Almost, definitely, maybe, somewhat, possibly, potentially. Even as she said that, Aunt Matsui couldn't stop gripping that rifle. There was no release in the tension of her expression. Of course, none of us felt like breathing a sigh of relief. At least, not until we could hear the cry of the seagulls once more. I could have gone for another 20 seconds. Okay. Is the clock just getting bigger all the time? Is that intentional? Or is that just a bug? Maybe it's say time's running out. But after we chased them out, nobody wanted to say anything. I didn't actually catch what the time it was either. Does this say? No, that's only real. Oh yeah, there it is. 11:30. And nobody wanted to say anything. All of the suspicious ones had been driven away. Even though we knew there might be some innocence among them, we still did it. We chased them out of this paradise, where people don't have to suspect each other. But our motive for chasing them out was suspicion of one person towards another, the worst kind of crime for a human. If we had accepted the existence of a 19th person, or for which, then we all might still be talking face to face, trusting in each other, working to get this gold, or find hidden gold. In that instant, we had agreed to chase out all the suspicious people. But had that been the right thing to do? So I think episode 1 will be like worst path, where no one trusts each other. Episode 2 we might get some people working to actually find the gold, with a different sequence of events. Maybe a different sequence of who dies with the witch's roulette. But had that been the right thing to do? During this endless silence, we could do nothing but be quietly tormented by that sin. Aunt Natsui faced the door, without letting go of her rifle for even an instant, sitting far back on the sofa. She would probably spend the night staring at the door without a wink of sleep. George Anarchy gazed through a gap in the closed curtains by the window, looking down at the courtyard and the mansion that surrounded it. I didn't know whether he was checking to see if a suspicious shadow would become visible through the window, or whether he was wondering to himself about something. Jessica was sitting sideways on the sofa next to Aunt Matsui, with a dead expression on her face. And every once in a while, as though she'd remembered something, she'd take up the inhaler she'd used during her asthma attack and stick it in her mouth. I just heard it from Anarchy, but apparently Jessica liked Ganonglan. It was apparently so vague that she hadn't realised it herself. You know, it's the kind of thing other people tend to spot before the person in question realises it. Which means she might have first learned of her feelings when the person she liked died. I was wondering if that might have been the case. But it felt like maybe it was overdone. They wouldn't reuse, in effect, that, since it was the whole George and Shannon. But in any case, it must have been so terrible, so sad. Come to think of it, Canon was the one who handed her that inhaler. Maybe she was remembering that. I was fishing around grandfather's study, thinking I'd researched the meaning of the magic circle of the letter's second sheet. Even though we were shut up here in a defensive position, my rebellious nature made me want to find some key, some way to resist. After all, I've got plenty of time before tomorrow morning. You could fault me for how I used that time. No one else showed that much interest in this magic circle. Its meaning was unknown, and once we understood it, we were sure to find some message that would cause us unnecessary anguish. I felt the same way. However, I couldn't just ignore it, so I killed time by going through the motions of researching it.
熱心だね。何か手がかりになるようなことは見つけられたかい？
さっぱりさ。そもそも日本語で書かれた本を探すことからして骨だぜ。じいさまは一体何カ国語を読めたってんだ。大したもんだぜ。
バトラ君は眠くないの？誰かが起きていてくれてるうちに休んだ方がいいよ。夏日おばさんは寝ズバンをしてくれると言ってるけど、体が持つわけない。
Especially after all the stress and tension.
ローテーションで休んだ方がいいよ。
じゃあ兄貴が先に休めよ。俺は眠気が来るまでちょいと調べ物をしてるさ。
さっきの魔法陣？
どうせ時間は腐るほどあるさ。ベアトリーチェ様がどういうメッセージを込めやがったのか。面白い。
よせよ。そういうのやってると妙なのに取りつかれちまうぜ。
安心しろよ。俺はマリアにお墨付きをもらってるぜ。俺には霊的才能は格しなんだってよ。
マリアのこと邪険にしすぎたかな。
ジェシカ、今はそれを考えてはなりません。
でも母さん、もしもマリアが無関係で犯人が他にいたなら、犯人は襲いやすい相手を狙うに決まってる。それで殺されたなら私たちは見殺しにしたことになるよ。
The gloomy silence settled once again. It looked like Jessica regretted letting her emotions take hold of her and snapping at Maria. She's always been like that, always acting tough and regretting it later.
気持ちはわかりますが、マリアは犯人と接触し、こともあろうか、その肩を持つように煙に巻く発言を繰り返しています。私はこの部屋から追い出せて清々しています。
夏日おばさんって結構きついっすね。9歳の女の子のザレ言かもしれないじゃないっすか。
It probably wasn't very convincing to hear that coming from me. I myself thought Maria was creepy on several occasions, even doubting her true nature. When Maria was chased out of his frame, I couldn't deny that I'd felt some relief.
もしそうだったなら、明日謝罪します。
Apologized to the dead bodies.
彼らをこの部屋から追い出したのは全て私の責任です。だからあなたたちが気に病むことはないのです。
I could feel a tragic determination in Aunt Natsui's words. To protect her own daughter, she'd resolutely chased after the suspicious ones. And if, as a result, she had to watch for people who had unfortunately been suspected die, so be it. She was prepared to take full responsibility.
なんでマリアってあんなことばかり言うんだよ。自分で自分の首を絞めてるぜ。
もともとマリアちゃんが魔女や魔法に傾倒するようになったのは、僕はローザおばさんのせいじゃないかと思ってる。
ローザおばさんのせい？何がどう関係してるってんだよ。
バトラ君だって気づいてるんじゃないかい？マリアちゃんの本当の父親はずいぶん昔に蒸発してるんだ。おばさんはそれを海外出張とか言ってごまかしているけどね。
後宮家ではローザさんたちに関わる話はタブーとされているところがあります。
おばさんは再婚だって考えたと思うよ。でもマリアちゃんの存在が枷になって非常に難しかったんじゃないかと思うんだ。だっておばさんは時折ものすごく感情的にマリアちゃんに当たっていたから。
それについては同感だぜ。ローザおばさんはマリアを好きになろうと努力してるように見えた。ってことはつまり好きじゃないってことなんだよな。再婚の妨げになっているマリアに思うところがあったんだろうよ。
母親の感情的な拒絶がきっと彼女の幼い心に深い傷を残したと思うんだ。
It might be like a love-hate relation.
そしてどこかでオカルト趣味と出会い、心の隙間を埋めるように没頭していく。知ってるかい？マリアちゃんにとって魔女のイメージは決してネガティブなものじゃないんだよ。ほら、昨日海岸でマリアちゃんのノートを見せてもらわなかったかい？
ああ、なんだか楽しそうな落書きでいっぱいだったぜ。
Yesterday, when we were down by the beach doubting the witch, Maria got all riled up and started explaining about witches. And on one of the pages, she had shown the picture of an ugly witch. They were all brightly coloured, beautiful, cute witches who looked like they were having fun. There was absolutely nothing sinister about them, like a boy might have imagined. They were beings adorned with beautiful dresses, who could grant anyone's dreams with their mysterious magic, and who made everyone happy. The sorrow of not being loved by her mother. Had Maria sought help from witches as beings who could give her happiness and save her? Someday a witch would come, and using her wonderful magic would bring Maria happiness, even though she believed that. As she grew older, she had to face reality as her fleeting dreams were sliced to ribbons, one by one. If something claiming to be the witch of Rokkenjima appeared in front of a girl like that, whispering that she'd take Maria to the Golden Land where Maria could be happy.
僕は今頃になって胸中を告白するよ。マリアちゃんを、いや、源氏さんたちを追い出したのは多分いけないことだったんじゃないかな。
気まずくはあるぜ。
Since Jessica had been born to face them and slam them with words of rejection, her conscience must be tormenting her a lot right now.
なら皆さんはあの手紙をどう説明するのですか？
Also, it might be interesting to see them all go outside in the morning and see all 4 of the people there dead.
私の後ろにいた4人以外の誰にも置くことはできなかった。それは私がこの目ではっきり確認しています。あの4人が潔白だというなら、どうやってこの密室の8人もの人間がいる中で手紙を置けたというのですか？
そうなんだよ。その話が始まっちまうと、確かに4人は怪しいってことになっちまう。だが全然ダメなんだ。ああ、全然ダメだぜ。
ダメって何がだい？
ああ、もう今さら何の役にも立たないかもしれねえが、またチェス盤をひっくり返させてくれ。
I would also like to remind everyone that it's only Natsuhi that's really being able to claim that the others, someone else put the letter down. Technically, there's no reason for the other three there to say for certain that Natsui didn't put the letter there herself.
つまりあの4人が本当に犯人だってんならよ、おかし
そうだぜ。
Yeah.
あんなテーブルの上に堂々と置いたら、この中に犯人がいますよと告白するようなもんじゃねえか。
What benefit would they gain from it? The other 3 people being cast out with them?
そうだよ。おかしい。
Although if you think that that's the benefit which you're aiming for, it's a bit risky since you don't know how many other people would be set aside apart from just you.
やるなら、例えば扉の隙間に置いて廊下側から差し込まれたように見せかけるとか。そうだよ。部屋の外に犯人がいるように見せかけなきゃ自分が疑われてしまうことが分かってたはず。
ああ、そういうことなんだ。
Of course, all of this also assumes that they're objectively choosing the best option for themselves.
あの4人の中に犯人がいたとして、テーブルのど真ん中に手紙をポンと置くことはリスクばかりで何の意味もないんだ。だがどうやってそこに手紙を置いたかのトリックは置いといて、あの4人以外の誰か、 すなわちこの部屋の外に犯人がいたと仮定したとき、
How would they get it in?
あの手紙には大きな意味が生まれる。
よしなさいバトラ君。今さら些細な問題です。
Natsui quickly guessed what I was getting at. No, maybe she had thought of it long before I had, and had simply held her tongue.
この部屋の外に犯人がいて、俺たちが外からは手出しをできない密室に立てこもっちまったらお手上げだ。ああ、そうだよ。この部屋からじいさまがいなくなったって話の時、俺が披露した説じゃねえか。じいさまが自分から出ていくという説。自分から出ていくような何かの細工を犯人がしてまんまと外へおびき出していたのだとしたら、
Come to think of it, when we found about the scorpion magic circle on the doorknob to the study, Maria said it herself. Beatrice couldn't get through this door, but she could induce someone to leave of her own accord.
だとすると私たちは犯人の罠に見事はまって、新しい生贄候補を送り出しちまったことになるぜ。
源氏たちもバカではありません。身を守ろうと思うならこの部屋の次に安全な場所をすぐに思いつくでしょう。そこできっと身を潜めています。
Natsui hadn't answered the question, and Natsui herself had realized that if the culprit wasn't in our group back then, that letter would make sense as a trap. However, it wasn't worth the risk of calling back the people she'd once thrown out. To Aunt Natsui right now, her greatest and only duty was to protect the children apart from Miria. By her thinking, in order to do that, a few sacrifices are unavoidable.
なあ、夏日おばさん、きついこと聞くぜ。もしあの時たまたまジェシカもおばさんの後ろにいたなら、おばさんはこの部屋からジェシカも追い出してたかい？確かに残酷なところはあったかもしれない。でも夏日おばさんは母として娘を守りきろうと思った。その責務から自分がやがては糾弾されることを覚悟で彼らを追放したんだ。俺は別にそれを責めてえわけじゃねえ。ただそのジェシカはいいおふくろを持ったなってそう思ったのさ。
Sounds very so
そうだ
sincere.
ね。夏日おばさんは朝からずっと続いているこんな事件の中でも冷静さを失わずずっとみんなを牽引してきてくれた。もしおばさんまで混乱していたら僕たちは今頃全員犯人の手にかかっていたかもしれない。だから僕たちはおばさんに感謝しなくちゃいけないと思う。
ありがとう。
バトラたちの言いたいことは、マリアの母でもあってほしいって。私、マリアのことを実の妹みたいだとずっと思って可愛がってきた。なのにいろんなことがあってちょっと混乱しちゃって。
Problem is to go and get Maria, they'd have to leave the safety of the study.
ひどいことをたくさん言って傷つけてしまった。
Of their own free will.
母さん、お願いだよ。マリアも、みんなも一緒にいようよ。私たちの中に犯人なんていなかったんだよ。この事件の犯人は魔女のベアトリーチェでいいじゃないか。だからもう疑い合うのはやめようよ。
I'm really feeling Higurashi in this paragraph. With culprit wasn't really anyone, it was the suspicion itself. And whatever her name was. But in terms of within the friend group. Aunt Natsui closed her eyes for a short while. Was she coping with her throbbing headache again? Or was she thinking of something?
ジェシカは主人と結婚してから12年もかけてようやく授かった大切な娘です。私はジェシカを守るためならどの
That was some pretty strong language at the end there. She realized very well that her words were an idealized view of what a mother should be. But even so, she was strongly resolved to protect her daughter, even if she had become a demon, even if she had to become a demon. But that was her guilty conscience tormenting her. Today's been so long. So many things happened in one day. We've been driven into a corner so thoroughly. I wonder if we have the right to greet tomorrow the way we are now. There it is.
見つけた。
What, the magic circle?
この魔法陣だ。
Yay! I got it right. Inside the book I'd been flipping through, I'd found the same magic circle that had been drawn on the second sheet of the letter. George and Anarchy peered at it as well. The magic circle's name was the Third Magic Circle of Mars. The Hebrew written on it was from Psalm 77, verse 13 of the Old Testament. What God is so great as our God? The meaning of the magic circle was discord. Agitate internal divisions and cause the enemy to bring about their own downfall.
おいおい。マジかよ。
oh, could there be a more fitting way to describe our current situation and mental state? We couldn't help but be stunned into silence.
じゃあこの手紙は罠だってのかよ。どうやってここに置いたんだよ。この部屋には私たち8人以外には誰もいなかったんだぜ。
とにかくどうやってここに置いたのかその方法は捨ておくぜ。とにかく犯人の狙いはたった一つ。この鉄壁の書斎に疑心暗鬼を引き起こして生贄の羊を俺たちの手で外へ放り出させることだったんだ。
だとしたら狙いは外へ出された人たちだ。
母さんどうしよう。あの4人が危ない。
It wasn't surprising that Natsui remained unpleasantly silent. Even if this was all a trap by the culprit, even if the four who had been chased out of the room were in danger, it had nothing to do with the safety of the 4 people in here. And there was no way to prove the innocence of the 4 people we chased out. If we're willing to let them die, then we shouldn't leave this room no matter what. That way is safest. Oh. One thing I've just realised. Who was it that said that the phone wasn't working? And the radio wasn't working? Genji? Who is someone that isn't necessarily to be trusted? Genji? Did no one else check if the phones were working? It was the antique extension phone set on the table in Grandfather's study. Alternatively, this is the witch calling now, and the game is over and they're all about to die. It had rung right after we started talking about the letter being a trap. It was natural we'd think of it as an SOS from the ones we chased out. Then Aunt Natsui spoke.
どうして電話が故障していて使えないはずなの。
そんなことは関係ねえさ。もしマリアたちが助けを求める電話だったら。
そもそも電話の普通が犯人の工作によるものならば、この電
Yes.
話はおそらく。
Without one sentence, the ring of a phone, which had once sounded like a scream for help, now started to sound like a ghastly lure from some unknown person. Aunt Natsui hesitated over whether to pick up the receiver.
トロおばさん、
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to pick it up.
何かの理由で電話が回復したのかも。マリアちゃんたちからの緊急の電話の可能性もある。
そうだぜ。それに万一犯人からの電話だったら上等さ。 話を聞いてやろうじゃねえか。
Okay, my immediate prediction of what might happen. She picks up the phone and then shoots one of them. Oh, after listening to
そ
whatever
れ
was
に
said.
どうせ電話だ。
Let's just shoot Jessica.
受話器越しに何を
That'd be
ほざいたっ
interesting.
て痛くも痒くもないぜ。
おばさんが取らないなら
Oh,
私が取ります。もしもし。
I stretched out my hand to take the receiver, but Aunt Natsui grabbed it before I could reach. We all held our breath, trying to figure out who the person on the other end of the phone was. For a while, Aunt Natsui kept saying hello. A silent phone call? There's no way Maria and the others would do something so creepy. If they're dead, maybe. Which means, could this phone call possibly really be? Aunt Natsui stopped repeating hello and strained her ears, because she thought she heard something far away on the other end of the receiver. What was that?
これは
歌って何ですか、おばさん。
わかりません。電話の向こうでかすかに誰かが歌っているのが聞こえます。
Faint enough that you wouldn't be able to say for certain whether it is or isn't one of the 4 people that you cast out.
何のことやら。
ちょっと受話器を借りますぜ。もしもし。
I half forced the receiver from the stunned Aunt Natsui's hand and pressed it against my ear. At first I didn't hear anything. But because I'd been told about it beforehand, I noticed. It sounded far away from the receiver, rather than someone speaking in a quiet voice. And it sounded like a girl singing a song. My voice did sound like Maria's, but that just made the situation even more inexplicable. At the very least, the one who had made the phone call hadn't been Maria. After all, Maria was singing some song far away from the receiver. In that case, the one who made the phone call should have been Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, or Dr. Nanjo. And yet, they weren't saying anything. Why? For what reason? The person who made this phone call. Who was it?
おい、もしもし。誰だ、返事をしろ。歌ってるのはマリアなのか。返事をしてくれ。
何が起こってんだよ。どういうことだ。
わからねえ。一つ言えることは、多分これは罠で、そしてマリアが危険だってことだけだ。
One possibility, the other 3 are dead and Maria is singing along with Beatrice. And Natsui took the receiver again, but after yelling into it several more times, she realized she wasn't getting anywhere and hung up. After that, she dialed quickly. Then she clicked her tongue. That's right, if the phones are working, we should be able to reach the police. But judging by Aunt Natsui's reaction, the outside telephone line still didn't connect.
行こう。罠かもしれないことは分かってても行かないわけにはいかない。
ああ、まったくだぜ。ジェシカと夏井おばさんはここにいてくれ。
When Anaki and I tried to dash out, Aunt Natsui stopped us.
お待ちなさい。あなたたちだけに行かせるわけにはいきません。私も行きます。ジェシカはここで待ちなさい。
私だけのけ者かよ。冗談じゃない。私も行くぜ。
そうだな。その方がいいかもしれねえぜ。電話が俺たちをさらに分散させる狙いがあるってんなら、留守番を残すのは適当じゃねえ。
議論する暇も惜しい。みんなで行こう。
Aunt Natsui raised the rifle high and took lead. I couldn't go unarmed myself. I found a three-pronged candle stand and readied it. All with the pins on it, used to fit candles, were short. It was almost like a 3-pronged spear. Then the 4 of us left the study. We left the study, which should have been the safest place inside the mansion. By doing this, we had been lured out, even though we had barricaded ourselves in a safe, closed room. Perhaps we were doing exactly the same thing Grandfather had done when he disappeared from that room. And on that note, I will end it there for today. I hope you all enjoyed that part. Let me know any feedback you have in the comments. And until next time, see ya.